All right, what's up, everyone? Swinging Bull here with PB Alerts, and today we're going to be looking at CSCO earnings and Upwork earnings. Regular session closing bell just rang. So CSCO, let me go ahead and go to earnings whispers here. Got a consensus EPS of 0.84, forecast revenue 12.71 billion. They report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, so about 5 more minutes. Upwork says they report at 4. We'll see. Not really seeing much price action on that one yet, but EPS forecast 0.17, revenue 178.16 million for the forecast there. So let's go back to the candlesticks now. I'm just going to zoom in on the 1-minute charts on these so we can get a better view here. And I did have a trade set up earlier today on CSCO. Go ahead and show that to everyone real quick. Let me go to my option strat here and open this earlier. It's inverse iron condor on CSCO, and the setup of the trade is basically it's Friday's expiration, and to form the inverse iron condor, I basically sold the $52 call for Friday, and then I bought the $51 call, and then I bought the $49 put, excuse me, and then I sold the $48 put. So risk reward, not really 1-to-1, but it's about a 50% return on our money. I was green a little bit on it before the regular session bell rang for closing here just about a minute ago. I did open quite a few of these on my Schwab account. So basically the idea behind the trade is by Friday, you can see right here where my break evens are on the inverse iron condor. Just want CSCO to be above 51.67 or below 48.33. So I'm kind of protected on both sides here. So more of a neutral play. Don't care if CSCO goes to the moon or burns to the ground. I can make money in either direction. We just don't want the price of CSCO to be in this red tent here by Friday. So if we don't get the move for the earnings that are about to be announced here any minute, or we don't get the move by tomorrow sometime, I'd say by the close of tomorrow session, if the price of CSCO for whatever reason is still in my red tent here, I'll probably just stop out of the play because it'll still be worth something tomorrow afternoon. Unlike on Friday, you definitely don't want CSCO to be in this red tent here on Friday, because then you're looking at possible max loss there. So I would never let this go to max loss. Either we get the move tonight when they announce earnings, or we have the move tomorrow at some point, and then I'll go ahead and take profit on the play. And you can even see on the table here, that's why I like using option strat as like a tool, because we can kind of tell what the price of CSCO needs to be at for the amount of profit that we can expect to get. So this kind of gives you a visualization of where the price CSCO needs to be at for there to be profit on the table for this particular play. Okay. And of course, just looking at the graph, like I say, just looking for like a $1.50 move to the upside or a $1.50 move to the downside, and then we'll have some pretty good profit there. So let me go back to the candlesticks. Appreciate the reminder there, Sky Limit. I'm already on the 1-minute chart. So Upwork, of course, announced right at 4 p.m. They had a nice spike up to $16.14, and then of course sold off from there. So it looks like it's heading in the other direction, down a little, about 9% in after hours here. Let's see if this is going to be the move, or is this going to be, sometimes the initial move is like a fake out move, right? So we'll see what happens here. CSCO should be reporting any minute now. Let me just pull up my other screen here and see if we got some results for Upwork. Give me 1 second to type that out. UPWK. And let's see if we got some results here, because so far I would say, positive for the time being, up just 0.25% here. Let me see here. Okay, here's some. This is from Alpha Sense, so pretty credible source here. For Upwork, revenue grew 14% year over year. Okay, and to 183.9 million in the fourth quarter. Diluted earnings per share was 0.13 in the fourth quarter, compared to a diluted loss per share of 0.13 in the fourth quarter of 2022. Net income 17.4 million in the fourth quarter of 2023, compared to net loss of 16.5 million in the fourth quarter of 2022. Active clients grew 5% year over year. As I'm reading this, it's obvious that investors are taking this negatively. Looks like the data that's coming out are kind of like statements. They're trying to hype up some of the year over year stuff, but overall it doesn't look to be too positive. Let me refresh my screen here and see if we get some more data. Okay, so their sales did beat estimates. Q4 2023 sales came in at 183.90 million, which beat the estimate of 178.16 million. So they did beat sales. Let's see here. Revenue, okay, I already went over that. Let me see. Okay, so they beat sales. Just looking for the EPS here. Okay. Financial results here. So far, negative reaction on CSCO and also Upwork. They're both red now in after hours. We'll see if Upwork can kind of claw its way back, because they did beat sales forecasts. Let me see if I can find some data on CSCO. Okay. Okay, I'm going to be keeping my eye on Upwork, because they did beat their earnings were positive. Let's see what we got for CSCO. And CSCO's sitting at 48.25, and going back to my trade that I set up earlier today, if this thing's below 48 bucks tomorrow, I'm going to have some nice profit on the table, probably a big chunk of this 50% potential. So it looks like this is probably going to play out for me. So congrats to anyone in the Discord that took that trade with me earlier today. CSCO sees Q3 adjusted EPS 84 cents to 86 cents. Consensus was 92. Okay, let's see. CSCO reports Q2 87 versus 84 estimates, so they beat on that one. Revenue 12.8 billion to 12.7 compared to 12.7 billion, so they did beat that. Okay, here's what happened. They cut fiscal year guidance, y'all. So that's what happened with CSCO. They cut guidance, and that's all it takes. And we've seen that before, where a company beats sales, they beat EPS, but then they adjust their guidance down. If they cut their guidance down for the year outlook, that's definitely going to be a sell-off in my book. So let me just scroll through some more here. Kind of post this. All right, let me post this on YouTube so everyone can see this data that I was just talking about here. Okay, so here's some data that came out here, but the main thing to keep in mind is they cut the fiscal year guidance. So that right there is going to be a sell-off regardless of beating EPS or revenue. Let me go back to Upwork for a second. Okay, so far Upwork's not, it wicked up to 16.14, then came down to 13.62. It's like $2.50 move there, or range, if you will. Then it retraced all the way back up to basically where it closed at. So kind of neutral on Upwork, kind of flat in after hours right now. Not really a lot of movement after these first couple candles came out. So neutral on Upwork. I'm glad I decided to play CSCO instead of Upwork, because Upwork's just not moving right now. Let's see what else we got here. Cisco is still trying to find a bottom here and kind of pop a Fibonacci on this. Okay, so 25% retracement would be 47.80, sitting in the 47.50s right now. Okay, go back here. Okay, just a couple things from Upwork, some statements. They said last year proved Upwork's continued growth momentum and strong profitability. Our business is flexible and resilient, as the skilled talent on Upwork are critical resource to businesses small and large, said Hayden Brown, the president and CEO. Fueled by our continued investments in human-centered AI and innovation, growing advertising and subscription products, our differentiated enterprise offering, and new integrations with marquee partners. We're confident and excited about our long-term strategic plan to drive growth and transform work in 2024 and beyond. So they kind of spitting out some AI words here. So we're kind of, we all know what AI has been doing. So looks like they're getting a nice catalyst here. Basically, CEO says fueled by our continued investments in human-centered AI and innovation. So that's interesting statement from the CEO there. So looks like positive reaction to Upwork. I know it kind of wicked down here to 1362, but I think once investors are digesting this earnings data and these statements from the CEO, he's throwing out the AI words and stuff like that. So it seems to be obviously bounced back and is being taken positively now. So Upwork up about 3.35% in after hours. Cisco retraced the 25%. This is the level here that if this is gonna retrace back up, that this sell-off, this earnings sell-off, it needs to get through 47.80 and kind of hold that. Very well could reject from here and make another lower low in after hours. So we'll see what happens. But just to kind of summarize, Cisco cut their fiscal year guidance. So that's kind of hurting them right now, even though they beat sales. Upwork, positive reaction. They're talking about AI and stuff like that. The CEO is, so people are really liking that. Let's see here. Volti on YouTube asks, will Cisco bounce back? We'll see. Like I say, I mean, if we're gonna be watching it in after hours, we normally get this 25% retracement after a sell-off or a rally. So ideally moving forward, Cisco needs to stay above 47.80 and start making some higher lows in after hours to try and claw back some of these losses. It was right around $50, sitting down at 48 now. So looks like buyers are trying to step into the picture. We'll see. I would just be a little leery because they cut the fiscal year guidance. That's a little scary for me. So it's going to be hard to trust, if this thing does start clawing back. It's going to be a little bit hard to trust because of the guidance adjustment. But basically, ultimately, moving forward tonight, like to see it stay above 47.80 in after hours here. So we'll see potentially what it does. Okay, it's about 4:15 p.m. Eastern. I'm just going to go back and look at my trade from earlier today. So again, Cisco below 48.33 or above 51.67. I should have some good profit on the table on this trade. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow after market open. We'll check the pre-market data as well. But so far positive on Upwork. I mean, it's not like booming or anything, but I mean, it was up almost 9.5% during the regular session and up 3.35%. Now up 4%, over 4% in after hours. So definitely positive for Upwork with the AI statements the CEO is making. So, I'd say congrats to the bulls on this one. This should definitely hold above 15. I would think going into tomorrow, and maybe we get a nice uptrend out of it. Let me just look at it on TradingView real quick. I just want to see what signal I had on the bigger time frame. Okay, so we were coming in. We were coming into this earnings with a bull signal printed right here. That was on February 12th, so 2 days ago. Had a nice bull signal print here, and with the positive earnings, I think this very well could start trending back up pretty good, and some levels to look at to the upside. Probably be looking about $20 to be honest with you, because you could see the top of the range that it was in. Basically was trading from around $15, basically from like $8 to $10 would probably be like the bottom level, and then right around $15, 15 to 16 at the top, just kind of ping ponging. It's been ping ponging in there ever since the over a year. I mean, this is going back to January 2023. Kind of just been ping ponging from 8 to 16, right? Did get a nice bull signal print here. And okay, Volti, you bought at 49, and I'm assuming, yeah, you're talking about CSCO. All right, well, don't get upset yet. You're not too far off. I mean, what you're down what 5% right now, around there, 4 or 5%. But to be honest with you, if this makes a lower low in after hours, that would probably be my risk on this. So if it was me personally, of course, we would want to make sure after hours, extended hours trading is enabled with our broker. But if it was me, if this 46.90 gets lost, tonight, that's probably would be my risk on it moving forward. Because if we look at the bigger time frames, let's see here. Actually have a little gap right there down to 48.25, which is okay. So that's already filled. Come down to 47. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Let's see here. This could easily probably come down to the mid 40s. I would think from here. So it's the demand area from December 2022 to May 2023. So solid 6 months. It was used as a floor. So right around 44, $45. So, just keep in mind that it very well could be like, if we lose this 46.90, basically 47, it could be a magnet to the mid 40s. So that's another couple $1 per share loss you'd be looking at. But that's just me personally. Obviously everyone's going to trade their own plan and their own portfolio. But for me, the risk is 46.90. If you're long on it already, I definitely want to see this 25% retracement hold, which it's trying to hold. The bull stepped in and pushed it up above there. It's trying to hold above there now. So ideally, we want that level to hold. Worst case scenario, 46.90. After that, it might be a good idea to consider managing your position to reduce, risk to the downside. Sure, yeah, we could take a look at coin real quick. I know that basically runs with the sentiment of Bitcoin, right, in the cryptocurrency market. But yeah, I mean, coin's been solid lately. I remember trading this in the 60s back here. So it's looks like it's formed a new bottom around 114, 115. Seems to be pretty solid there. Let me see here. Got like maybe a small gap there. Another one here, and then another one more recent there. So 3 gaps to the downside that you should probably keep your eye on those levels for sure, because price does like, coming back to those levels to, deal with that unresolved price action, right? So that would be like, as far as downside levels, number one, it's going to be the top of the gap that was just created. So 150, right around there, 150 and some change. That would definitely be a downside level that I would have my eyes on. And then yeah, they have earnings tomorrow. So there's the catalyst right there. If it does go higher, I mean, you can look where it topped out here back in December, a couple months ago, topped out around 187.39. So, it's going to take a catalyst for it to get up there, and that's what we got going on tomorrow. EPS estimate at 0.03. So, level to the upside, basically, I'd be looking at this previous high, 187, and if investors react positively to the earnings, I think it easily can get up there. Level to the downside is going to be the low from today, because that's the top of the gap that formed from yesterday to today. Top of that gap's right around 150. Bottom of the gap's around 143. But sometimes we'll see it come down and test the top of the gap, and then it goes higher, and it won't necessarily come back to fill that gap right away. Sometimes it might, take some time for that to happen. So it's going to be about their guidance, and I think EPS and revenue would be a big deal for coin as well. More so the guidance probably. So we'll see what happens with coin. Let me just kind of check earnings whispers real quick. And okay, EPS consensus negative 0.09. I mean, something like this, like if they reported earnings and had finally a positive EPS, like that's going to be a good thing there. Let me see here. Let me go down here, type coin here. Okay. So, okay, EPS, I think earnings whispers, sometimes I see errors on this. This might be wrong, but I'm showing a consensus EPS forecast of 0.02, which would be a great improvement from last year's EPS. Same quarter last year was negative $2.46. So if they can meet or beat this EPS, that's going to be positive for them. And you can kind of see how they've been improving as a company slowly but surely, especially with the EPS numbers. You could just tell the chart here, it's getting back to the baseline, the zero line. It's been slowly trending back up to the baseline, which means they've been improving as a company, right? Let's see here. Coinbase, after their last earnings report on November 2nd, kind of flat the next day, only up 1%. The time before that, on August 3rd, they were down 3.79% the next day. But when they reported earnings on May 4th, super green the next day, almost 20%. So as far as my bias, whether I'm bullish or bearish, I try not to predict the earnings move. More or less it's a lotto play. But that's why I like trading my my neutral plays, especially for earnings. So inverse iron condor, that's going to be a neutral play, which means we can make money if it goes up, and we can make money if it goes down. Just don't want the price falling in our red tent by expiration. But I usually look up the expected move, see what the expected move is for the particular expiration date I'm looking at. And then as long as I can set up, build out my inverse iron condor where the move that I need for it to go up or down is less than the expected move, then that's going to be a good thing. So can't really give you my opinion. I mean, to be honest with you, if anything, I would be bullish on Coinbase, just because the way Bitcoin's been running. So if I had to guess, I'd say bullish. But if you don't want to play the bias game, then just do a neutral strategy where you can make money regardless if it goes up or down. You just want it to basically make a move, right? We need a move. We don't want it to be flat. But with the earnings catalyst, I don't foresee coin being flat. It's gonna make a move, and you can even the last earnings, it was taken positively. They were up. They were a little bit green the next day, but that was the start of a huge rally from $70 all the way to the 187, $117 per share gain just on the equity. That was the last earnings, November. Came down again, and now we have earnings tomorrow. So that's kind of what I think. Yeah, exactly. Volting on YouTube. Yeah, Bitcoin above 50K. That's kind of what I'm thinking is as long as Bitcoin remains pretty strong, I would definitely be bullish on Coinbase. Yeah, CSCO. The problem with them, because they did have good earnings, they beat EPS and they beat revenue a little bit. What bombed them is they cut fiscal year guidance. They cut it down. So that's not good. And we've seen that a lot before. That's what I was saying earlier is we'll see companies that beat EPS and beat revenue, sometimes smash it out of the park, like great financial numbers. And then the CEO says, we're having a problem here or a problem there. We got to cut our guidance. And they adjust their guidance downwards, and then it sells off. Investors hate that more than anything. It's if they give soft guidance or cut their guidance, it doesn't matter what the EPS or revenue was. It doesn't matter how much they beat. That guidance cut, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the sell-off. And that's what's going on with Cisco, unfortunately. So, like I say, I'd be watching this wick down, that 46.90 wick down. That's where we don't want to see it getting lower than there. And on top of that, I'd like to see it, it did bounce back to this 25% retracement, and now it's kind of flat on the 25%, right around 47.80. As long as it holds 47.80, maybe investors will not be so negative about the fiscal year guidance cut, because they did have good bottom line and top line, right? So if it can hold here, maybe it starts clawing back, into tomorrow, and it can get back to where it closed today, right around $50. But that's why we're seeing a negative reaction on Cisco, because the CEO cut the fiscal year guidance. Yeah, absolutely, Volti, no problem. Oh, nice, cool, man. Thanks for the sub. I do this every week on Wednesday. We just kind of, I basically during the day I'll have a trade set up. I do different kinds of trades, but usually I do multi-leg options, so it's kind of advanced option strategies. I do a lot of condors and spreads and butterflies and ironflies and stuff like that. But what I try and do every single Wednesday, I'll come on here and usually I'll have 2 charts pulled up, so we'll be looking at 2 different earnings releases. And then usually during the day before I get on here, I'll already have a trade set up and kind of go through the trade. What are the metrics of the trade? What do I need the price of Cisco to do for this trade to work out, and stuff like that. It just kind of gives people alternate ways of trading, because people get so stuck on trading naked options. They're like, oh, I gotta buy a call or I gotta buy a put, and like some people think, some of the newer traders think that's the only way to trade, with the leverage. Because of course the option contracts is, you're controlling 100 shares of the stock. But there's so many different ways to skin the cat. You don't have to always do naked options. You can do multi-leg options and do spreads. I like spreads because you could just go on a bigger time frame. I'll just use Cisco for an example, but like the daily chart. And like for a spread, you could say, okay, well, it topped out here. This was about a couple weeks ago. Topped out here at 52.60, and you could do a call credit spread where if you don't think the price of Cisco is going to go above this level, then you can slap on a call credit spread above this price. And as long as Cisco stays below your spread, let theta decay do its thing. Because when we're doing credit spreads, we're actually selling options, not buying them, because we're collecting the credit. But the beautiful thing with spreads is you don't have to worry about the intraday madness, right? All the ups and downs and all this crap. I mean, with the spreads, if you trade them correctly, all I'm concerned about is a level on the bigger time frame, and I just want to make sure the price stays on the right side of my spread. And then as theta decays those contracts, then we buy it back for cheaper and pocket the difference. So that's mainly what I trade in our Discord group, is lots of credit spreads, and then I do lots of inverse iron condors if I'm expecting a big move, or if I think a stock's just going to continue trading sideways, I'll just do a regular iron condor, which would be the opposite of this, where we're boxing. We want to box the price in a range, not so much this trade where I want it out of the range, if that makes sense. Just give me 1 second here. My office phone was ringing. Let's go back here, see if there's anything happening. Yeah, I mean, CSCO is still holding this 25%. So those that were bullish on CSCO, I mean, all hope's not lost. It's kind of flatlining here, which is a good thing, because we don't want to see this break below the low of after hours, because that means it's just going to make a lower low and it could trend down tomorrow. But as long as it holds here, maybe investors, have more time to digest the earnings data, and maybe it starts clawing back this drop here. It's about a $2 drop from where it closed. Well, it closed around a little over 50 bucks. Okay, Upwork had a positive reaction, but I am seeing a candle here. Is that because of the order book? No, not so much. Refresh this. Okay, yeah, that's just kind of like an anomaly candle there. So anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. It's been about 30 minutes. So far, bullish reaction on Upwork and CSCO. They did have good EPS and good revenue, but they cut fiscal year guidance, and that's why we're seeing it sell off. So for the CSCO bulls, I want to see this 47.80 hold. If all else fails, this 46.90 for sure would need to hold, or we're going to see this go lower tomorrow, possibly trend down tomorrow. If it can hold this 47.80 for the rest of the after hours and pre-market, maybe it starts trending back up to the baseline of where it closed around 50 bucks tomorrow. For Upwork, it just seems like this could continue, that they had a good earnings, and it's been taken positively. So just keep your eye on the price action, that it continues to keep making higher lows, and then we get a solid uptrend out of that. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything in the Discord. Okay, it looks like I missed a bunch of comments in the Discord. Okay. Okay, so I am good says that you already got a $100 profit on CSCO. Let's see. I got some people in Discord asking about Tesla. We can take a look at it. Go on the daily chart, because it's been trading in this descending channel. I had drew this on a while ago, and easiest way to play Tesla for what's been happening since price action from July of 2023. So what's that? August, September, October, November, December, January, February. It's like 7 months of price action. You just play this channel up and down. Right now it's at the bottom of the channel. So, I mean, if previous price action is any indicator, we should be, anticipating a bounce here, right? This is something to keep in mind. Better yet, I would like the price to get above this green 20 MA on the daily. Would be even better. Usually when it gets to the top side of that green, like here's a good example here. Price was below the green 20 MA. As soon as it pops over it, we get a nice uptrend out of it. Same thing for the downside though. If it loses the 20 MA, usually there's a pretty good downtrend there. But if we couple that with the channel it's been trading in for the past 7 months, it looks to be due for a bounce. For a little bit of added confidence, price gets above this green 20 MA, and I would definitely consider going long on it at that point. So I hope that helps. But you know where Tesla's at right now, my risk on it would be pretty obvious here. It's basically 175 would be my risk on it from here moving forward. Because if it loses 175, this thing's probably coming back down to 150, 160, where this was demand over here from April 2023. But anyways, that's all I got for today. Like I said, I do this every Wednesday, pick out a couple tickers that have earnings and kind of go through it. And then I look at some other tickers as well. But we'll see. I hope everyone has a great night, and I'll see everybody tomorrow as far as the people in our Discord group. If you're interested in joining the Discord, and you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description. It's free to join and come chat with us. But other than that, I hope everyone has a great night, and I'll see everybody later. Cheers.